Now to a major development in a high-profile immigration case. Mahmoud Khalil, a pro-Palestinian activist and Columbia University graduate, is a free man this morning after a federal judge ordered his release on Friday. Even though, and this is vital, you guys, vital, Khalil has a green card and is married to a U.S. citizen, he was held in an immigration detention center in Louisiana for 104 days. As we have covered extensively on this network, his case was a flashpoint in the Trump administration's broader crackdown on critics of Israel's incursion into Gaza. His attorneys argue the case was never about immigration, but instead a politically motivated attempt to silence pro-Palestinian speech. The Trump administration has already, unsurprisingly, filed an appeal. Here's what Khalil had to say last night.
The hundreds of men who I left behind me shouldn't be there in the first place. The Trump administration are doing their best to dehumanize everyone here. Whether you are a U.S. citizen, an immigrant, or just a person on this land, doesn't mean that you are less of a human.
Joining us now, former federal prosecutor and senior writer at Politico, Ankush Khardori. Ankush, the administration has already said they're filing an appeal. That's obvious. Do you think they have an actual strong case on that? And what do you think about Khalil being released last night?
Well, look, I was glad to see him released. It took too long, but at least it's happened. It is just bail, right? To be clear, the administration is still going to try to deport him. They've made that clear.
He can only go to 5 states: New York, Michigan, New Jersey, Louisiana, and Washington.
Right, while he's on bail. Yeah. And, the immigration's proceeding is still moving forward in Louisiana. It's unclear, actually, how this is all going to shake out. It's very unclear. I know a lot of people were saying this is a big victory for him, and no doubt it's good for him to be returned to his family. But it is still the case that he may find himself deported at the end of the day. This case has, created an intersection of a bunch of different novel issues, not just the law that they've invoked, on Secretary Rubio's say-so, saying this person is a foreign threat, has not been used in this way before. But also the way they went about doing this, immediately going out and detaining him, has created a situation where there's now some procedural mess, right? There's a federal case in New Jersey, which is what precipitated yesterday's order, and there's a parallel now case on the immigration court in Louisiana. And it is not clear, I think, to everyone yet how these two things are going to intersect. But no doubt, he is going to be making an argument that his deportation is improper on any grounds, that it's a pretext, that additional allegations they've come up with, and that it remains an effort to punish him for his speech.
Ankush, let me get your reaction to the Department of Homeland Security's response to Mr. Khalil's release. They said an immigration judge, not a district judge, has the authority to decide if Mr. Khalil should be released or detained. On the same day an immigration judge denied Khalil bond and ordered him removed, one rogue district judge ordered him released. This is yet another example of how out-of-control members of the judicial branch are undermining national security.
Look, this seems to be like the last resort for them on every single issue. When they lose in the courts, even subject to all the appeals, the judge is out of control, or they're rogue, whatever. It's how our legal system works. And, the immigration judge, just to be very clear, because this is a little bit of a thing that I like to point out. We refer to these things as immigration courts, immigration judges. They do not resemble courts and judges in the ordinary sense that we understand them, but they're not independent arbiters. The immigration judge in Louisiana is an employee of the Justice Department. Right. And so we've seen this in a variety of different areas since the inauguration. The administration exerts a lot of control over the immigration courts, the way that immigration judges can process their cases and the standards they apply. So it's not as if, she's not saying, oh, it's one judge versus another judge. She's really saying, it's our judge versus this district court judge. And now this is the way the system is supposed to work. But I think when you hear a statement like that, I think a lot of people are thinking it's not really just judge versus judge.
One of the things I found really interesting in this case is the government attorney saying the court should not have the authority to interfere, and the district judge saying, I don't think any of that is right. We're starting to see these judges over and over again be like, no, you can't just make things up here. You can't just tell us that we aren't allowed to interpret the law.
Yeah, this has been going on for months. Actually, since the start of the inauguration, since the inauguration, Justice Department lawyers have been going into courts and having judges criticize them, saying not just on, your legal arguments are meritless, but also the facts you're saying are inaccurate. You're giving us the runaround. This is a pretext. This is a misrepresentation. It's really been a string of repudiations, if you will, or admonishments that I've not seen in any other Justice Department before. And it does seem like, at the end of the day, all they can do is sort of throw their hands up and want to create this sort of political sort of theater around it. And they're struggling in the courts because their positions are weak. They're novel and they're weak.
In the time that we have left, I want to play something else that Mahmoud Khalil said after his release, because I think it is a good message for everyone to hear. Let's watch this.
What's your message to all other immigrants in this country today?
No one is illegal. No human is illegal. That's the message. The message is justice will prevail, no matter what this administration may try to portray.
Do you have any message for the Trump administration?
Trump and his administration, they chose the wrong person for this.
I was just wondering if your reaction to Mr. Khalil.
Well, look, he's right. And I applaud him for using his opportunity with the press yesterday to try to put a spotlight on other people. Because his case doesn't necessarily implicate these sorts of issues, but he's clearly attentive to the idea that this administration is engaged in a very aggressive crackdown. And he sounds like that he wants to be a voice in this debate, and that we're going to be hearing more from him.
Ankush Khardori, thank you, as always, for coming to The Weekend.
Thank you.